Guys, it's Gothic, aka Sam, and today we are continuing on our Asagao Academy Normal Boots Jared route. I'm sorry it's super duper late, but it's been a busy day. I had homework that was due at midnight, and things happen. So, let us continue. When I was done, I kicked him out of the bathroom and cleaned myself up. It was horrifying that he saw me like that, but at the same time, I was so much more preoccupied with the fact that he was preoccupied with what he was going through to worry about something so comparatively small. After giving up so much for me, what made seeing me throw up a big deal? I washed my mouth out and borrowed someone's tube of toothpaste before returning into the hall. Jared was waiting for me in front of my door.
All right.
So, I guess this is goodbye now. I nodded sheepishly. Jared, thank you. No, I should be thanking you. Things have been changing for me ever since I met you. Without you, He stopped himself. Anyway, thank you. He turned and laughed. I watched him go, guilt mingling with the gratefulness in my empty stomach. I returned to my room and once again feeling exhausted. Mai turned over in her bed to look at me, but instead of talking to me, she smiled. I smiled back at her, and she turned over again. She probably knew that I didn't want to talk about it. I changed back into my pajamas and climbed into my bed, trying to think of ways to help Jared. His relationship with his mother seems difficult. If my father was like that with me, there's no way I'd be able to do anything. The only reason I was even here is because my father supported and cared about me so much. Even if his mother had these expectations, didn't she know that they were unreasonable? Maybe it was naive of me, but I thought maybe if he could talk to her honestly and tell her how he felt. But then, would that even do anything? Are we on part 4? Yeah, we're on part 4. I was not eager to head to class the next day. The fashion show, combined with my glorious encore immediately following, filled me with embarrassment and horror. I walked through the doors of Poppy Hall so early that morning, I didn't even think Mai was awake. Consequently, the halls were mostly deserted, excepting the odd student who looked away when they saw me coming. I reached the door of my classroom with a sigh before an odd flicker of movement caught my eye. Jared was standing behind a row of lockers, and then another one further down the hall. Like this, he darted between locker groups, heading for the staircase to the 3rd floor. Jared. He jumped. Why, yeah, Hana. Hana, it's just you. He put a hand over his heart, wheezing. Thank God it's just you. How are you? He leaned against a neighboring wall, flipping his hair dramatically. I'm fine.
Nice.
That's great. There was a creak down the hall as the stairwell door opened. Students were now starting to trickle into the hallways, and Jared followed them with his eyes. Yeah, I was thinking that along the lines that I agree. Yeah, right? Yeah? Jared, I'm not saying anything. Perfect. How wonderful. Irritated, I grabbed his chin with my hands and turned him to face me.
Hey!
Jared, come back down to earth, please. Nobody's going to be thinking about you. A few students passed by, whispering and giggling. Jared sighed. If that doesn't look like they're talking about me, what does? You would think anyone was talking about you at that rate. All they would have to do is be talking. You can't tell me that no one is seriously going to be talking about how Jared, the model student, is secretly an alcoholic. I wrinkled my nose. He had a point, but was the thing, but that also sounded so arrogant. The world doesn't revolve around you. I know that. What kind of idiot do you take me for? I'm not saying you're an idiot. Jared glanced at the door again and he paled. I looked over my shoulder.
Good morning.
Oh, hey, Satch. What's up?
Okay.
Sup? It's good to see you two survived. He grinned broadly. I chuckled, but Jared shoved his hands into his pockets. Anyway, Jared. I understand. I won't talk to you. Don't forget about the meeting after school tonight. We want everyone to be there. You too, Hana.
Yeah.
Got it. I saluted. Satch waved and went on his way.
What?
But, see? I told you so.
I'll see you around.
Hana, I've got to go talk to him. I'll see you later. Jared followed Satch up to their classroom, no doubt about to probe him for his opinion on what occurred the night before. I wondered whether he'd tell the truth to them about the alcohol, or whether he'd stick with his original story. Would he tell them about me throwing up? Oh, geez. I went to class, hiding my face from people around me, the conversation I heard. I wouldn't have expected it of him. I know, right? Who knows? Maybe he's some kind of alcoholic. I don't think so. Ugh, but that would make him so hot. He'd be dangerous and everything. A secret bad boy. Dark side. Kakusu's eyes flickered. I do not understand this propensity of human mating patterns. Whatever, more for me. It seemed like nobody even remembered my fall. Compared to Jared, I was small news. The same thing happened at lunch, too. Don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd be shady to listen in on our strategy discussions. He stole my favorite Wiimaro, though. They were all the same color. There's no way he could have known he was taking it. The group cast a suspicious glance at the hidden block table where Jimmy had donned a chef's hat and was teaching the rest how to frost cookies. They were experiencing various degrees of success, with Ian producing the cutest smiling cookies and Caddy recreating miniatures of dead moose. I don't know. Jared was listening quietly, hardly even eating his food. I couldn't tell whether he was relieved or whether their failure to address the rumors made him distrust them even more than he otherwise would have. About the fashion show.
Yeah!
You looked great. I glanced at mine, blinking.
Yeah.
You really did. Even Josh agreed, didn't you? Josh blushed and turned away. I don't know what you're talking about. About my fall. It's exactly what I expected from the likes of you. Shane, you're a dick. I stared at Shane, unsure of whether that was a joke or an insult. His expression didn't change. Nobody cares, Hannah, so don't worry. She dug an elbow into my side, a bit painfully. I had the feeling she was shutting me up, less out of concern for my feelings and more out of concern for the truth of the situation getting out. I glanced at PPG, who was making faces and staring at the ceiling. Did he know too? Was he going to tell them? Okay. Thanks, then.
See what I mean?
We should leave the strategy for tonight. Lunch is supposed to be about relaxing. We shouldn't drag work into it. This is the wrong group of people to be saying that to. Yeah. As we finished eating and dispersed on the campus, I dawdled behind the others to catch up to Jared. He was walking like a zombie, holding his head as if unsure that this reality existed.
Hey!
Feeling better yet? I just don't get it. Why doesn't anyone hate me? Nobody cares about whether you snuck alcohol in. At least nobody in the normal Boots Club cares. They're your friends. It's not like you killed a person. They probably don't want to talk about it unless you bring it up. Friends? Yeah. I patted him on the shoulders. Don't worry, you'll figure out how friendship works eventually. As I rubbed his shoulders, I heard someone approaching me from behind, who turned around.
Paul.
Paul, what's up? Hey guys. I don't really know how to go about saying this. He scratched the back of his head, staring at Jared's left knee.
Well,
So, you know that I'm running for student council president, right? An image is very important to that, right? Oh no. So I don't personally care what you do in your free time. I don't care whether you drink or not. Like, personally, I just don't give a damn. But some of the students and faculty might care, and it would be bad if I got a reputation for doing things like that. Your reputation might survive, Jared, but I don't have your godlike looks. I can't afford to have people thinking I'm an alcoholic because of you, so... Because of him? What I'm saying is I need to spend less time around you, or I would appreciate it if you could spend less time around me, or us. I feel really bad, man, but that's just how it is. What the hell, Paul? You should be better than this. I turned to Jared in desperation. Right? Tell him, Jared. Jared held up a hand and shook his head. No, it's fine. I get it. Image is everything. Paul sighed and his entire body relaxing as if a bowstring was untied. I'm glad you understand. Jared, it's nothing to do with you. Yeah, it's fine. I get it. I raised an eyebrow. Paul simply grinned. Awesome. Gotta get to class. Can't be late, but I'll see ya. He stopped and made goodbye. I mean, I'll... bye. He dashed off down the lane. The wind blew through the trees above us, stirring small flakes of dirt that speckled my socks. Jared turned to me with a half-hearted smile. I knew they really wouldn't accept me. Is that really what you're taking from this? You saw it happen. You're cherry-picking the worst possible things to reflect your inaccurate outlook. It just happened. You can't tell me I'm making it up. It has nothing to do with your friendship. He said it was image only. Yeah, and my image is the only thing he seems to care about. What? You think Paul is using you?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't say that. But you're not taking it back either. Yeah, well, I stared at him. You're kidding. Jared shrugged. Class is starting soon, isn't it? It is. We should get to it then. Fine. I'm going ahead. I shouldered my bag and stalked off. I made it to class in the nick of time, right as the bell chimed. I sat at my desk with a mixture of fury and sadness in my heart. Paul shouldn't have done that. I almost didn't believe he actually did, but Jared's selective attention to the very worst interpretation and signal from every situation was filling me with rage. I didn't understand why either. Sure, it was annoying that he was behaving like that, but I shouldn't be causing this extent of anger. What was going on? When class ended, I started walking out with Mai, but... Hana, where are you going? We practiced it in the library, remember? I glanced at Mai, who shrugged. I should get some extra volleyball practice in. I've been slacking recently anyways. Okay. Right, then let's go. Shane and I headed past the tables of gossiping, frustrated, sleeping students into the back of the room. There at a table to the right sat the normal Boots Club, or most of them. I scanned the familiar faces and I noticed two things. One, everyone seemed stressed beyond belief. Two, Jared and Paul were nowhere to be found. As Shane and I set our bags on the table, I soon found out why. I asked you not to come, so I expected you to not be here. Can't handle not being around in public, but this is the library and nobody comes to the cooking and new age sections. I saw a flash of green from between a few books across the way. Jared and Paul were arguing a few bookcases over, but despite this, their voices could be heard as clear as day. Sag glanced back at them. If they don't keep it down, the librarian is going to come kick us out. Trust me. That's okay. We can just meet in the club room, right? The teacher is using it for a class prep today, so we won't be able to. Oh, can't you do something? You work here. I'm not. That situation is between them. I won't take sides. No one is going to see. But if they do, it won't happen. You can't know that it won't. You can't know that it will. The two were going in circles. If anything, this would hurt Paul's reputation more than being seen with Jared. Well, we all came here for a reason, and just because those two are being idiots doesn't mean we can't have to waste our time. He's right. They'll sort out their business. In the meantime, we have a strategy to discuss. I watched the passage and movement between the bookcases. But I'm not one for conflict, but we can't leave them like that, can we? They're going to hurt us as a group.
Well...
If we get involved, it'll only get worse. I agree with Shane. We can at least tell them to take it somewhere private. They're almost done. It'll be fine. I slapped my hands over my face, rubbing my temples. First Paul and Jared, now this. As the argument back and forth got more heated, both sides separating themselves into thick categories, time wore on. I just glanced at Josh, the only one who was staying quiet. He shrugged at me. I stood. Guys! The other stopped mid-sentence, glancing at me. Just for today, can we please get on with things? I'll go tell them either they'll join us in whatever capacity or they both can miss this meeting. But no, I don't want to hear it. I've had a very frustrating day, so either we sit down and do this strategy meeting or I will find a carton of eggs and smash them across all of your faces. Good. Josh, start the meeting. I'll go talk to the other two. I wound my way between the bookcases, hearing the slow talk of strategy and business start up behind me. As I approached Jared and Paul, their voices became quieter and more urgent. They must have seen me coming, because by the time I got to their bookcase, they were standing in silence, looking at the books on either side of them. Guys, are you ready to join us? They exchanged looks. Jared cocked an eyebrow. Paul threw up his hands and Jared shrugged. Fine. Yeah, we're ready. He pointed at Jared and muttered something quietly to him. Whatever it was, Jared seemed to have expected it, as he only rolled his eyes. Then please join us. Paul nodded and stepped past Jared, going towards the table. I waited for Jared by the bookcase end. So... I stick around for today, basically. Oh, good. That's good, right? Jared shrugged. As we headed back to the table, I tried to make small talk, but Jared's jaw remained tightly clenched. As calmly as he seemed to be taking this, things were not well, and I couldn't tell whether he was still mad at me for our argument earlier that day or whether he was angry at Paul. But for the moment, nothing I said to him seemed to stir a response. We made it to the table and resumed our seats. The boys were grouped into separate bunches, each offering their own ideas on each other's strategies. Despite having figured out a few ways to make my score better, multiplayer matches still got the best of me. I was a slow combo builder, and when I played against others, they usually got their combos in before I could get mine fully into place. It would be extremely helpful to get a few ideas on how to make my speed faster. But Jared sat on the fringes of the group, arms crossed and deep in thought. He really looked like he could use someone to talk to, but I didn't know whether he wanted to hear from me. I wasn't even sure I was ready to talk to him. My boiling rage subsided, but the anger was still there. What should I do? We need to practice. Practice. Shane? I raised a timid hand and Shane came to my side. Yeah? I've been having difficulty with this, so could you... A wry smile curled across his lips. I'm not surprised. I stared at him. Was he being mean or was he actually teasing me? Don't worry, we'll get you in ship-shape in no time. I nodded quietly, darting a glance at Jared. He watched me in shade, expression unchanging. Was he mad that I didn't go talk to him? Or was he just upset over what happened with Paul and I was being too self-conscious to see it didn't have much to do with me? In the end, Shane helped me settle on a strategy involving eliminate certain colored stones before others based on how many there were on the screen. When I practiced with him, and he was fairly good despite his insisting otherwise, my speed slowly got better and better until I was able to consistently beat him. He shook his head after our last match, grinning.
Yeah.
Fast learner. I beamed, something like pride tickling my spine. Thank you. But you've got a lot to learn. There's only a few weeks left until the tournament. Don't forget. I saluted. I won't. My! Ah! Good God, Hannah, what is it? Oh, you're in a uniform. Did Tractus just end? I literally just set down my bag and was about to take a shower. We've got a game in a few weekends, and things are... She stopped squinting at me.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you okay? You seem really tense.
No!
No. I collapsed on the ground face down. Mai stood over me. I began to roll across the carpet like a tiny mobile sausage. Mai, I hate everything. Did you have another fight with Jared? I explained the entire situation from her, and from the incident early this morning up until the practice session we just had. When I was finished, I put my face into my hands. My dating sucks. It's really complicated. I have no idea what's right and wrong, and what I should and shouldn't do, or whether I was overreacting, and... I don't want to be crazy. I don't want to be, like, in an unhealthy relationship. Is this what this is? I just don't know. Mai sat next to me, pulling an arm around my shoulder. Well, I can tell you're certainly not in a good spot right now, but all relationships go through rough patches. Realistically, something like this is bound to happen in any relationship, so it's a matter of whether you can overcome it, or whether you even want to, I guess. It is. She shrugged. There's no real good answer. That's why relationships are so hard. Half the time, it's a matter of perspective. Jared's definitely stepped out of the line more than a few times, but from his angle, I'm sure you have too. But... I shut my mouth. As much as I would like to pretend it was only Jared doing things wrong, maybe I had done things wrong too. But was that me just being a doormat? I didn't want to lie down and take rude behavior, or should I? Because people make mistakes and mess up and take their anger out on others all the time. What was permissible and what wasn't? My head hurts. Look, what it comes down to is, I guess, do you even still want to date Jared? Of course I...
No.
No, Hannah, really think about it. Just because you like someone doesn't mean you have to date them. My mom used to say all the time, oh, I can't help it because I love him, as if it was a good enough reason to take any behavior. If you ask me, it was an excuse, a reason for her not to take the hard road. You don't owe Jared anything, not as his girlfriend and not as a human being. So it's a matter of your happiness that you should think about, not his. I'm sure Jared wouldn't want you to date him if you were just doing it to make him happy either. Do you even feel like he likes you sincerely? Jared had said and done a lot of things for me. Sometimes it felt like his words meant nothing. All the pretty poetry he spouted at me, talking about my beauty and immoral goodness, or whatever, it meant nothing. They were as worthless as raindrops in Seattle. But there were times when Jared seemed sincere. You look beautiful. You were scared, but you weren't hiding. You were afraid of the people you met and what they would think of you, but you didn't think to fake your feelings. You have always been, from the first moment I met you, genuine. You're a brave person, Hannah. And I'm terrified if someone finds out that I'm not perfect, they'll just give up on me. I did it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He does. I'm sure of it. Then I guess the only other question is, do you care for him? And do you think it's worth it to try to get through this? The day faded into night as I turned the situation over in my mind. I cared about Jared. I really did. Perhaps it was a question of commitment then, not one of right and wrong. Even if Jared was being a butt, he needed someone's help. This was basically his worst fear coming true. Was it any wonder he had become completely irrational when dealing with it? His irrationality and insistence on seeing things in the worst light possible was what angered me more than anything he said to me. It was clear that what he said to me, even including throwing me under the bus, wasn't truly how he felt about me. It wasn't good. It wasn't excusable, but it wasn't the truth of the situation. More important than whether he did it once or whether he did it again was whether he more important than whether he did it once was whether he did it again. And I couldn't treat him as if he'd already messed up, or that would make a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if I wanted to stick around, I had to learn how to deal with this excruciating drama king shtick. Why did that bother me so much anyway? I stared up at the top rungs of my bed, running my feet across the bars, holding Mai's bed up. It was just... I hated that line of thinking. I hated it so much. I hated it because... My eyes widened. It reminded me of myself. Alright, and that's where we're going to save today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, please leave a like, comment down below, and I will see you in the next episode.